No big deal. You're only playing the Saints, the number one total defense. Here's what the two guys did last week. Next Gen Stats, powered by AWS, went under pressure, which is key because that offensive line is decimated. Doug Peterson this morning.
Big, for Jalen to just go out there this week and obviously take control of the huddle like quarterbacks do, and just lead the way. He knows how. I'm not, and nor do I want him to. I can think about when I played. They said, hey, don't go be Brett Favre, be Doug Peterson. So that's my message to him. Be Jalen Hurts, right, and do the things that he can do, and really, I think from an offensive perspective, just run the show, right. Just run it how he sees it, and we'll coach him up through the week and get him prepared.
Against, I should say it again, hi there, Kurt Warner, our Hall of Fame quarterback. Great to have you. The number one total defense in the NFL in the New Orleans Saints. All right, kid, go do it. How do you think he does?
Yeah, welcome to your moment. But this is what it's all about. I mean, you want to have these opportunities, and this is a great opportunity for him to show what he can be at this level. But it's not going to be easy. This Saints defense is playing lights out both on the front end and the back end. Key is going to be, get the ball out of your hands. And that's going to be paramount because watching Jalen Hurts play in college, he was a guy that liked to hold on to the football and create more than getting the ball out of his hands quickly. So that's going to be paramount, is see the defense, know what you got to do, get the ball out of your hands, and then when the opportunities present, like they did on that 4th and 18 that we just saw, use your legs, buy some time, make some plays that way, because that's where he's really different and special. It's just that Saints defense doesn't give you a lot of room to be able to create and stand back there and do those sort of things. So he's got to play the offense first.
Right move, you think?
I do think it's the right move for right now. I think it's the right move for team, and I think it's the right move for Carson Wentz. There's no doubt he's been feeling the pressure, and he's been trying to do too much, and he's been pressing. He needs to get away from it for a minute, take a deep breath, and then hopefully get another opportunity when he's settled in and can go back to playing his brand of football. And for the team, they're just not doing anything offensively. And so you've got to, look at everything and specifically look at the quarterback. And, we've seen moments for Jalen Hurts and some things that he did to spark them a little bit last week. So, yes, I do believe at this point in time it's the right move. Now, I'm not saying it's the right move for the rest of the year, but it's the right move for this game.
Hey, we all saw on Monday night how good Josh Allen was against that 49ers defense. That had a great game the week before against the Rams, 375, 4 touchdowns. How much better is Josh Allen this year than last? And what does that mean for the Bills?
He's better. And I think that's been the beautiful part of his entire journey, is that every year he gets a little bit better. And what I loved on Monday night was his calm and poise inside the pocket. Great game plan, got the ball out of his hands quickly in a lot of instances. But when he didn't panic. He didn't, sometimes he would get happy feet and start moving a little bit too quickly in the pocket early in his career. Now he's gotten more comfortable. He knows what he's looking at. He's able to hold the football and not panic if nothing's around him and go through his progressions. And that's where it gets really scary, because we saw on Monday night his ability to buy time and then use that cannon arm to make huge throws down the field. We know he can make plays with his legs. Now, if he becomes more complete and he's a guy that can go through his progressions and make those sorts of plays in the pocket, man, with the playmakers he's got around him on the outside, this is a really, really dangerous offense.
Yeah, dangerous offense that's going to have to put points on the board, you'd have to assume, Sunday night to beat the Steelers, who lost their first game of the year on Monday night. Kurt, I want to read you the number of passing attempts for Ben Roethlisberger the last 5 games, all right, starting on Monday night and going backwards. 53, 51, 46, 46, 42. Can they win like that? Can they keep on doing that?
They can win like that. And, I know we look at things in terms of pass attempts versus rush attempts. But you have to look at the way Pittsburgh plays this game. And similar to what I do in high school, is that we'll throw a lot of screens and quick throws at the line of scrimmage, and it becomes a part of our running game, because if the box is loaded with defenders, let's get it out to one of those guys in space. And even if we pick up 3 or 4 yards, it's like a run play. But bottom line, Andrew, is anytime you put the ball in the air, something bad can happen. Somebody can drop it. They've had a lot of drops the last couple games. It can get tipped up and be intercepted. There's a lot of bad things that can happen as opposed to just handing it off behind you and running the football. But yes, I believe they can continue to win like this because Ben is really good at it. But I do believe come playoff time, they're going to have to push the ball down the field a little bit more and probably run the football a little bit better if they're going to finish some of those teams come playoff time.
And as Tomlin said yesterday, after looking at the tape, if we can't get 1 yard in short yardage late in the game when you need it, we don't deserve to win. And they couldn't, and now they get the Bills. So the Browns win it in Tennessee last week, Kurt, and that game was kind of sort of over at halftime. I mean, they barely hung on at the end, but we saw what Baker Mayfield did. Do you look at them differently now? Did they prove something to you that Baker and this team can now win in January?
I mean, they proved something to me. I mean, they hadn't really beat any good teams outside the Colts going into that game last week. And so the way they played, the way Baker played early, yeah, it proved something to me. But what I've learned in this league, you know, over my time, whether it be playing or covering it, is that there's always something else to prove. Very seldom do you get to the point where it's like, oh, that guy doesn't have to prove anything yet. You know, you've got, Baker Mayfield who just won a huge game and played great. Well, can you do it again? And you got Lamar Jackson who won the MVP last year, but they've struggled this year. He hasn't been quite as good. Now everybody's looking and going, well, was that the real Lamar Jackson that we saw last year, or is this the real Lamar Jackson? And so every year, every game, you've got something else to prove. So I like what I saw from the Browns last week, but for me to believe they can beat good teams consistently come playoff time, they're going to have to do it again.
Yeah, and they're going to have to do it again this week on a Monday night against the team that beat them badly, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, week 1 in Baltimore. Our Hall of Famer, Kurt Warner, back a little bit later on NFL Total Access. Good to see you. Thank you, sir. We are back next with Cynthia Freeland, crunching the numbers. We got a month to go. Are the Steelers' chances at number 1 slipping? Off tomorrow night here in Los Angeles. We're going to spend a lot of time telling you that this is a Super Bowl rematch. But is it? I mean, that game was 2 years ago. A lot has changed since the Rams lost in Atlanta to the Patriots. But Sean McVay is still there. They're coming off a win over the Cardinals. And Bill Belichick is there. They're coming off a win over the Chargers.
First of all, you take away how good Coach Belichick is. You know, he did such a great job, obviously, keeping us limited and, doing a great job of keeping us from moving the ball, especially when we crossed the 50. And, him and Coach Flores, who's with Miami now, who was calling the defense that night. They did a great job. And like I mentioned, it's not a night that you are particularly happy with, but an experience that you're able to hopefully draw from as time goes on throughout my career.
The Patriots are here again. Hi, Steve Wyche. Hi, Mike Silver. Back in that building where Steve is now. He has it all to himself. Whose house? Steve Wyche's house. On that field behind you, Belichick did a number. They shut down Justin Herbert and the Chargers last week. What are they going to do for Jared Goff?
Yeah, Andrew, this is, being on the Zoom calls with both teams. First off, they're expecting a very, very physical game. They know where each team is playing on both sides of the ball. And for the Patriots, that's what they did to the Rams in the Super Bowl from the defensive side, and what they say they have to do this game, especially on the early downs. Linebacker Juwan Bentley talked about how the Rams on first and second down, they have got to get into the run game because the Rams offense is effective in the run action passing game. And he said if they slow down the run on early downs, get them in second and long, third and long, then they can get Jared Goff into the drop back scenarios and they can get after him. Now, Andrew, this is not a unique scenario. I've talked to defensive coaches for years. This is what they try to do to the Rams. But here's how effective the Rams are on first down running the football. They're averaging almost 5 yards a carry on first down. That is tops in the NFL in yards per gain. And keep in mind, as I send it back to you, Andrew, it's not just running backs who carry the ball for the Rams on first downs. They get it to their wide receivers and other players with that jet sweep motion. That's why they are so effective running the ball on early downs.
Yep, Robert Woods most notably, and Sean McVay intimated last night that it looks as if Cam Akers is trending towards playing on the short week on Thursday. That would be huge. We heard from Goff there, Mike. How is he approaching this Super Bowl rematch that isn't really a rematch?
Well, other than the jarring sight of him wearing a red shirt, which I'll address with him later, he looks breezy and good and even keeled. And possibly the best quality that Jared Goff has is that he handles adversity very, very well. He stays even keeled, and he usually bounces back well. Defensive coordinator Brandon Staley told me after Sunday's bounce back performance in Arizona, this guy is tougher than most people realize. And Andrew, I had a very emotional conversation after Super Bowl 53 with Jared Goff, and he put that game on his shoulders. He said, what really stings for me is that our defense played so well and I wasn't able to deliver. It was me. I wasn't able to do my part. For a young quarterback, that resonated throughout the organization. He probably was taking too much of the blame, but that was his inclination. And he's not viewing this as some sort of redemption because it's the same opponent. But I believe that he is on a path to getting back to the Super Bowl. And the next time he's in that situation, whether it's this year or a future year, you're going to see a much different player.
Yeah, a couple of things here what Mike just said. First off, you had an emotional conversation with Goff. I'm just wondering if it was you who was emotional. And the fact that you can get in a Stanford Cal reference for Jared Goff wearing a red non-contact jersey, that was brilliant on your part there.
I'm
but
glad
let me get
you
to
picked
Jared
that up
Goff
and
real
explained
quick.
it, Steve. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. But about Jared Goff and listening to him on his media availability this week, and I've been around Jared enough, when he gets in a certain kind of pocket, like emotional pocket, where he is locked in, that's when he comes out and plays well. He was very short with the media this week, and it was very much a situation where he's like, we know the first time we played the Patriots, we didn't have answers for a lot of what they did. We've seen more of that since from other teams. They will be ready for whatever the Patriots throw at them because they know the Patriots are going to hit them with a lot of things they haven't seen before.
They definitely are. On a short week here as the Patriots play a road game in the same building twice in 5 days for the first time in the NFL since 1932. Mike, what are you doing with your camera, dude? Are you all right? What's going on? Are you moving the camera over to the... Or were you...
Somebody's moving it for me. I don't have control. But I'll tell you this, Steve. My only emotion after Super Bowl 53 was get me some more caffeine. I got to write all night as I do every Super Bowl Sunday. That's the overriding emotion. Get me caffeine.
Mike, I thought there was a